Let the truth be told.
Giving all praises and giving all glory and giving all honor, guys, to the Most High and Him alone. This is another episode of Let the Truth Be Told podcast. I'm Zam, also here with your host Shemaya and my brother Phineas YG in the building. Man, it feels good to be here. How y'all feeling?
Oh man, I'm doing well. Can't complain. I could complain, but life is an experience. We have to learn how to take each day at a time and realize that yesterday is gone. Today, as you experience this, is leaving and never to be seen again. And we got to look forward to tomorrow. So all praise be to the Most High as we dive into this show and look at this so-called Black History Month and talk about the important aspects of what our people don't normally pay attention to. And first and foremost, why do we have a month called Black History Month in the first place? Hallelujah. What about you, Brother Phineas?
Hey, I'm right there, laying back off of you, Elder. You hit it right there on the head, man. So-called Black History Month. Why do we even have a Black History Month? We don't have a Chinese History Month. We don't have a Mexican History Month. We don't have a German History Month. We ain't got none of that stuff. So why do they feel like we need to have one? And we're gonna dive into that today.
Yeah,
That's a great point.
I think from what I see, is that we are their greatest trophy asset, and they put us on display in February. That's what they're doing.
You know what's crazy is that it used to actually be January, and they moved it to February.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if people understand the history on that, you know what I mean? It used to be January, and then it got moved to February. This was like in the 90s, I believe, early 90s. But yeah, man, let's dive into it. We got another great show for y'all. You know what I'm saying? As usual, let the truth be told. Your brother Phineas, you know what I'm saying? YG, my elder, Shemaya Yasharala, and my brother up there, man, Zamron, man. And we're about to dive in, man. Let them know what's happening.
Let's get down straight to it, y'all. Y'all already know what's going on. And forgive me, y'all, I'm dealing with a little sickness, you know what I'm saying? I done caught at work, you know what I mean? But we're going to get right into this. So let's check this out.
Racism against whites every day, every single day. Yet I'm a racist for pointing that out.
Adrian, what's your take?
Take on what?
What Chuck just said. Is racism just a one-way street?
I think that's his opinion.
Look at your firm, Adrian. You get the benefit of no bid contracts because you're an African-American firm. Now, as a white lawyer, what am I supposed to think of that?
I don't know.
I think Chuck is pointing out a double standard here, Adrian. I mean, take hip-hop. We've talked about this on the show before. You have African-American rappers saying N-word this and N-word that, but a Caucasian can't.
So say it.
Say what?
Say what you want to say.
I'm not saying that I want to say it. I'm just saying that I can't.
Sure you can. Say it. Say it right now. I will say it with you.
Okay.
Another satisfying
Hey, and you know
Everybody sing it. Everybody sing it. Everybody sing it with us. 1, 2, 3, and go. Another satisfying racial moment.
Oh my goodness. Hey, you know what would have came right behind that when he said, you know what? I say it with you. The minute he would have said it, what was coming right behind that was
I've seen that video several times over the years, and it's eye-catching because you want to say it. Just go ahead and say it because they do. Mm-hmm. They say it in the comforts of their own home anyway, but some of them dare not to say it in public. But one of our videos that we will look at, though, I think you got it, Brother Zamron, is the one with Bill Maher, and it was a discussion with Ice Cube because Bill Maher used the word one time on one of his talk shows.
I got it right here, Elder. So let's check this out, y'all. Right, and let's look at this
anniversary edition with 3 new songs. Ice Cube. See you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I know you're here to promote an album. I know you also want to talk about my transgression. What do you want to do first?
I knew you was gonna fuck up sooner or later. I did. I love your show. You got a great show.
Thank you.
You know, but you be bucking up against that line a little bit. You know, you got a lot of black jokes. You know what I'm saying? You do.
Well, against racists. Not yes.
Sometimes you sound like a redneck trucker. Up
No,
here
I
a little
don't.
bit. Yes, you do.
No, that I
Yes,
gotta.
you do.
No, I don't. That
Yes,
I gotta
you do.
push back on.
All right, it's my opinion.
Okay, it is.
My thing
I've
is
never
this.
heard that opinion before, but
My thing is this, you know, and I'm cool with you. I like your show, to be honest. I just want to know two questions. What made you think that it was cool to say that?
you know, I just
That's one question.
I just explained there was no thought put into it. Obviously, I was telling Dr. Dyson, comedians, they react. And it was wrong, and I apologized. And, you know, more than that, I can't do.
I accept your apology, but I still think we need to get to the root of the psyche, because I think it's a lot of guys out there who cross the line because they a little too familiar, or they think they too familiar, or it's guys that, you know, they might have a black girlfriend or two that made them some Kool-Aid every now and then, and they think they can cross the line, and they can't. You know, it's a word that has been used against us. It's like a knife, man. And you can use it as a weapon or you can use it as a tool. It's been used as a weapon against us by white people. And we're not gonna let that happen again by nobody, because it's not cool.
That's good. That's good. And that's the type of, you know what I'm saying, attitude that I feel that we should have, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
Elder, because, you know that we say these things amongst us, you know, in our own community, amongst each other. But it's kind of what Ice Cube was alluding to in this past interview, is that when we say it amongst each other, it's not used as a knife. You understand? It's just kind of used as, okay, this was something that was brought on us, right? That, you know, if you actually look into the root word, you know, from what we have, you know, it actually goes into something deeper. But, you know, it's negative, right? And just to, you know, for time's sake, we ended up taking that negative word because now a lot of our children got used to hearing it. And so the next generations, the word, you know, they start using the word, but now we're using it kind of like in a positive note or a positive tone amongst our own people. When we call each other the N-word, we're really referring to the modern day, hey, my brother, or hey, you know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. But when they use it, I do agree with Ice Cube here on this take that they're using it in a knifing type sense. Because
Absolutely.
why do they have to use it? You know what I mean? Like, we understand that, you know, they want to leech onto our culture and things of that nature. We see that even in the good old, you know what I'm saying, Torah and the Tanakh. But at the same time, what's the point of using it? There's other words that you can use. Like, if you feel like you want to be part, you know what I'm saying, of what we got going on here as Yasharala, you know what I'm saying, then call us, you know what I'm saying, your brother. You understand? But using those other terms and slangs and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, when they haven't even gone through that struggle, that's where it feels like, you know what I'm saying, it's used as a knife. But how do y'all feel?
Well, you know, well, finish. You want to go first?
No, go ahead, Elder.
What I was gonna say is we use, you know, we
Oh,
stand
and real quick, shout out to Jay Pina. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Julian Vibes. Shout out to Yazapa. Shout out to the chat of Via Barack. Shout out to Earth Hill and Angel. Joshua the Levi. GOZ in the building until we free. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else is watching. My brother Canal 104 in the building. All praise to the Most High, him and him alone. Lady of Truth. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else. Salaki, I got to shout out the chat. Go ahead.
Hallelujah. So I was gonna say, you know, we stand on both sides of the street on that word. We use it also both positive and negative. Also, our people do it. You know, I grew up in the hood. We use it negative and we use it positive. You know, we might say, "That's my, you know, N word. That's my brother using it that way," or you might say, "These ends over here." You know,
Mhm.
and we use it and it's all about the context on how we use it. I believe that the perspective that Ice Cube was saying is that they don't have a right to use the word because they didn't go through it like that today, because they used it in a very derogatory manner when we were on the plantation, which is where we got it from, which they morphed it from where it really come from, which is the term negas or neget, which is a royalty. But they took it and they made their own spin on it, and that's another byword that we have. With that's a byword. African American is a byword. Black is a byword. All these words are bywords for us when we really come into the awareness of who we are today. So as leaders and captains and kings within our own community, we need to start educating our people correctly. We gotta lead by example. If we don't want to be looked at in a negative context, then we got to stop looking at each other in a negative context too.
I agree. What about you, Phineas? YG in the building.
Hey man, you know that word, man. I use it. I'm not gonna sit here in front. You know what I'm saying? I know we all use it. You know, but honestly, I'd like to think that we've always used it for generations back to the biblical days. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
I really think that we kind of let's just say, I hate to even use this in the analogy of it, but it's almost like it's part of our culture. You know what I'm saying? To use it, whether if it's positive in a positive light or if it's in a negative light. You know what I'm saying? But we use that word. But I still feel like lines are drawn when it comes to that. Only we can use it. I don't care. I'm one of them. Only we can use it. Let me catch another heathen or somebody that don't look like me using that word. I might hit you up in your gums. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, though, because the heathen has changed it and flipped it to where it's seen in a negative light, to where now that even when we use it out in public or somebody else hears us say it, they look at us like ghetto or something on the lines of that. You know what I'm saying? Even though us as so-called black people, we don't see it that way. We know what it is amongst us when we say it, when we use it, and I understand that a lot of these different cultures don't understand how we can use it in the way that we use it when to the public eye it's deemed so negative. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
It's like I was at a event several years ago, and it was a mixed event. It was a lot of white people, Europeans, a lot of our people in there, and one brother, he was on the stage giving a speech, and he gave that speech and he did an excellent job. And somebody one of the brothers out in the crowd said, "My nigga." Now, now here's the thing: so in that light, regardless if it's used that way, how do you really feel when if you in that position? You like, wait a minute, you said this in front. What's your thoughts on that? What's your thought pattern if you in a room full of white people and you giving this speech and you breaking stuff down, and one of your brothers get up there and say, "My nigga," how you gonna feel?
Honestly, I'm gonna throw the black fist up, like, brother.
Like I'm gonna respond back like, what's good,
just
my
me,
nigga? That's
just me, my own personal, just me, only me speaking for myself. I don't care, like, you know what I'm saying. If I, I gotta get some of my people, you know what I'm saying, close to me. Like when we out in public, I might be talking, and that word might just fly out of my mouth because it's part of my language. You know what I'm saying? It's part of when I speak, and they try to remind me like, "Hey, we in public," and I be looking at them like, "So, like, I don't care what these other nations be thinking or saying or what I don't care." You know what I'm saying? But something on the lines of that on like a big platform, you just got finished talking amongst all these heathens. You got one of your brothers out there that go, "My nigga." Me, I might, feel somewhat a little bit because it's such a big platform, but just really just knowing me, I ain't even gonna give a damn. I'm so, hey man, I'm so, what I'm saying, with it, I might throw the black fist on him like me.
Well, it's just, one of the things I'll say is that every word that will come out of our mouth is a vibration, and it carries energy, and it's about the energy that we displaying. You know, we know my thing is, and I had, trust me, I grew up with it, been here in the hood with it all the time. But now it's time for me. Let me call you niggas or niggat. Let me and then explain it to you what it means, and then basically it's like, for example, now when I go into any room, if I go to the Secretary of State office, if I go to a courtroom, they're gonna call me Shemaiah Yasharala because that's the name on the record. Right. What does that name mean? You know what I'm saying? It carries a vibratory energy. So we got an opportunity today where the baton is in our hands to change the direction. We can't look at what was happened yesterday. We can't look at our prophets of old. We got to be the leadership to carry the baton. And if we want to make change, we got to be the change. You know, I embrace trust me, I embrace my people, but also at the same time, it's time for us to grow. You know,
facts. Facts.
Very well explained.
So let's get into this. This is an old conversation that was held on the Dick Cavett show between a typical, you know what I'm saying? His name is Lexter Maddox, and with the great Jim Brown, y'all, right? At one point is really still one of the greatest running backs of all time. If you actually look at the longevity of his career, which wasn't that long. He retired at a very early age to do Hollywood and movies, but was known also as an activist, guys, you know what I'm saying, for our people. If you are familiar with one of the famous movies that came out, I want to say about maybe 2018, 2020. I believe the movie was called, I want to say One Road, I could be wrong, or something like that. But it was a movie with talking about the relationship between Jim Brown, also Muhammad Ali, and Malcolm X. Right. And so
I know what you're talking about. And
what's the name of that movie?
Sam Cooke. It was a very good movie.
Yeah,
Sam Cooke's. My bad. Sam Cooke. That's right. Because he had made that song. I was born by the river.
Right. That was it.
Yeah.
In a little time.
I forget the name of that movie, but that was a very good movie.
And this guy right here, Lester Maddox, he's the governor. He was the governor of I think Alabama at that time.
Right. Yeah, either Alabama or Georgia, one of the two.
Yeah, one of the two.
We're gonna find out. But I want y'all to pay attention to this.
It might be Georgia. You're right. It's Georgia.
Sent you something.
It's Georgia. It's Georgia. You're right.
Okay, So let's check out this conversation, and I want y'all to pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the same type of excuses that we still hear today.
What they're doing is right. You know, they believe that white people should be separate. They believe that they should have a state in this country. I think they felt that Mississippi or Georgia should be, you know, one of those two states should be the state. Do you feel that
I was thinking maybe they ought to make it New York.
New York, you think so? All right, I'm gonna get over that, Governor. You look too tough.
No, I think that forced racial segregation is criminal and unconstitutional, and I think forced racial integration is criminal and unconstitutional. I think either one of them is cruel.
You mean on a social level?
Any level, where it's forced.
Well, we do have like the laws. You mean when the laws are enforced, that if it involves integration, then it is wrong?
If it forces people against their will, against denying them their choice, to separate or to integrate,
there should be an exception.
It'd be just as wrong if the law would be just as wrong to force them to integrate as it would to be to force them to segregate.
Well, don't you?
If a country can finally get to the point of saying, well, you're going to hire this person, you're going to promote this person, you're going to serve this person, then the same country can come right around and tell you you've got to work for that person, you've got to eat with that person, you've got to be served by that person. And this would be cruel and wrong, but so it is when it tells another person that you've got to do this.
Well, the laws of the land tells us all what we have to do, basically.
That doesn't make it right.
Well, I agree with that, but
the Supreme Court goes outside the Constitution. That doesn't make the Supreme Court right, does it?
Don't you believe to have an affluent society, we've all chose to live in a society together, don't you believe that to preserve that society that we need laws of the land? That's why we have a society. And we cannot make exception to these laws just because a person happens to be black or white. Don't you
We've
believe
got
that?
most of these laws because we don't abide by the laws of God, though. And so we try to go against the laws of God and against the laws of nature, and we say, well, you're inferior,
And this is where he messed up, y'all. Elder, this is where he messed up. Okay. And I want y'all to listen. Remember, he says that they abide by the laws of God. But remember, Elder, you talk about it all the time here on Let the Truth Be Told podcast, right? That their God is not the God of Yasharala. You understand?
Right.
So, and this is where it gets exposed. Check this out, y'all.
not going to be able to meet with success in education or in your social life, even in your religious life, unless you do it with another race. And this teaches inferiority to me.
As
And it's
governor-
wrong and it's criminal and it's cruel to teach any one person that he is inferior to another race or his race is inferior.
But as governor of the state of Georgia, did you go by the laws of God or by the laws of the state?
I go by the laws of God and by the laws of the state.
As you said,
What is that about? No, listen.
What is
No, it's not about it.
I was going to ask the governor, when you say it's morally wrong, integration, I believe that's what you said, or it's
I said
basically-
forced segregation or forced integration, racial integration or forced racial segregation. They're both morally wrong, cruel, and they're in violation of the United States Constitution, which is the law of the land, not the Supreme Court ruling that denies the Constitution.
And see, right there, what you got to say about that, Elder?
You know, it's a perfect alignment with picking and choosing, you know, which way you want to go. And that's what he did, you know. But in the same tone, he said that, Jim Brown asked him about what God you serve or what authority you serve. He said the laws of the state and the laws of God. But his God, as we talked about on the show all the time, G-O-D is government, ordinances, and departments. And if you sitting in the governmental chair as governor, you're not governing the state by the Torah. You govern it by the laws of the state and furthermore, the laws of the United States. And that's the authority that you bringing in. If they catch you bringing in absolute scripture saying, look, we're going to govern the state with scripture, they will put him out of office ASAP, because now they're going to say that there's a separation between church and state, which is a whole nother conversation. You know, that's another illusion that's out there, because how can you have a separation between church and state when you go to the state to get the ability to be a church? How can you do that? They go and they apply for an EIN through the federal system. Then in order to operate as a church, you got to get a state license within that particular state to function like that. You got to be registered with the state, period.
Wow.
So they talk out of both sides when they say that. So I want our listeners to realize, pay attention to the words that's being used and realize a lot of times there's a cloak and dagger move. You know, watch this hand so you don't see what this hand is doing. That's
And exactly. And we see that too in Psalms 55:21, where it basically says, you know what I'm saying, that their words of their mouth is smooth as butter, but war is in their heart. And so let's just check this out, y'all. It's about to get even more interesting. And then we're gonna parallel it with another video, right? Exclusive, you know what I'm saying, just came in. That's very similar, you know what I'm saying, to what we're watching here.
You know, I assume you know Dr. Billy Graham.
Sir?
I said, you know Dr. Billy
Yes,
Graham?
sir.
He was here last night, and he said that racial prejudice is also morally wrong. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yes, sir. I think racial prejudice is wrong. Yes. We have more, our government's probably practicing more prejudice today than they ever practiced in all the land so far as between the black and whites.
there was a quote that you made on the fight in Miami that Muhammad Ali participated in with Jerry Quarry.
Listen.
And, well, not in Miami, but in Atlanta. But black people always felt that Atlanta was the model city of the South because of its integration and because of the participation in economics of black people. And your statement on the day of the fight was something like this, that it's a dark day in Georgia because this fight is being put on. Now, the law of the land said that a man can participate in his particular profession unless he is in jail. I felt very happy that this fight took place in Atlanta. How did you feel about it?
I felt very sad.
And why was that?
Here's a man that has said, well, here I want to fight in the ring for money, but I won't even wear the uniform of my country. He says that I can't do this, but in other words, I'm going to act different from these other people who stand up for their country and put on the uniform. Had they not fought for this country, if they were not even fighting today and wearing this uniform, that he could not even get in a ring and fight and be a free man to
But
fight.
isn't it true
So
that-
he's helping to tear down this country with this philosophy, with this belief. Suppose every American, Mr. Brown, suppose every American had decided that they were not going to put on the uniform of their country, not fight for it. We wouldn't have a United States of America, and I couldn't be on your show, and you probably wouldn't even have a show
Isn't it
tonight
true?
if everybody had.
And see, that's the typical excuse, Elder, that they'll always use, right?
Right.
If it wasn't for people fighting for the country, whoop, 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 you wouldn't even have this opportunity or this position. But what a lot of people don't realize, y'all, is that this entire country is established off of bloodshed, right? This is something that Corey Holcomb, alluded to when he had his conversation with Anton Daniels and basically said and asked him a question, right? That America is established off of quote unquote gangsterism. And
Right.
so, and what he meant by that is how, the people who run this country dealing with not only right now, but also in the past, how they've controlled land masses, how they've controlled regions, how they've controlled, even certain places in all four corners of the earth was by force, whether it's through war, right, bloodshed, murder, and enslavement. And so now, right, that they done that, then you implement your way of living in these certain lands. You put your, your lifestyle, like, your stamp, your approval, you establish your currency to be the number one currency worldwide. And then now all of a sudden you just expect people, to just be thankful and just adhere to wanting to go and fight for this same country for them, as if, it's been beneficial for us as a people as a whole when it has not.
Well,
Right.
it goes right back to what we talked about the last show when we were talking about Black history, the word cognitive dissonance. So it's like like right now, this governor has disassociated with himself the fact that the United States utilized slavery to catapult itself to the top. And now the same slaves or descendants of the slaves are here, and you're telling them it's a dishonor for them to put on the uniform, to not put on the uniform, not to fight for a country that has enslaved his ancestors. How do you make that make sense? Now, I'm saying that from a position of, I served in the military, but it was a means to an end. At the time I was young, I wasn't even in the consciousness that I'm in today. I was actually starting that process at that time when I was going through the military. But again, him saying it was a disgrace because Muhammad Ali, what happened, those are the people of our people that don't know, Muhammad Ali refused the draft. He was a prize fighter, number one fighter in pro fighting. Then they wanted to draft him in the military. He refused to draft, and they wanted to put him in jail, came after him with all kind of stuff. But Muhammad Ali, forget about the religion that he was in. The man stood for his people. The man was not afraid to speak his piece when it came to white America on TV. And so as we remember Black history, we definitely got to remember that. And we'll look at those videos later, but we're going to watch this next.
He said, the great Muhammad Ali said, you want me to go overseas to fight for some Viet Cong who ain't never called me, nigga. You won't even fight for me right here in my home here in America.
Don't. A lot of them are heard it, but don't spoil it. Don't spoil it, YG. YG excited.
Oh
You know what I'm saying?
man.
It's time for us to rise. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Who gonna
Muhammad
rise
Ali
us
was
up?
great, man. Despite
Yeah.
his religion preference or whatever, he was
And
a great dude, man.
And that's one thing we got to
Right, bro.
remember, y'all. Before we show this video, we are Shemitic by blood, Hebrew by ethnicity, and we are Yasharalites according to nationality. But in order to make that awareness hit the consciousness of our people, we got to stop treating it as a religion. I hear people
That's facts.
well, they'll compare being a Hebrew Yasharalite with Christianity. They say, well, they Christians. Well, why you even use those terms in the same sentence? Because you wouldn't use, you should be using the terms as well, Russian and Yasharalite, Chinese and Yasharalite, German and Yasharalite, because those are the same, those on the same level. But when you start using religion and then you want to establish yourself as being a nation of people, then you got to stop comparing your nation to a religion.
That's facts. That's facts. And you should believe, hey, Elder, you won't believe how all these religious folks, you know what I'm saying? They still on I be getting videos made about me all the time, even from those who believe in the Most High only. I'll just be sitting back, you know what I'm saying? And just, hey, man, gotta work, you know what I'm saying? Gotta take care of my family, study for myself, study with those, you know what I'm saying, that, that have the same mindset as far as accepting our punishment, because as we're watching all this, guys, these are examples in how our people were literally forced to accept your punishment. No matter how great you are, no matter how successful you are, you're still reminded. It's kind of like what Jay-Z said. You're still a nigga, right? I feel like that's one of his, you know what I'm saying, greatest songs, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, but let's look at this interview right here. Fresh off the scene, you know what I'm saying? This is with Morgan Freeman. Y'all know he been looking the same age since he was 12. You understand? So let's just, you know what I'm saying, have some compassion for our brother. We love our brother, though. All praise to the Most High.
I'm Jewish. Okay. Which month is Jewish History Month? There isn't one. Oh.
I want to show you one more of Morgan Freeman. This is from a couple years back. He was on 60 Minutes being asked about Black History Month. Again, his previous answer was we should stop talking about this stuff. Check this out.
Black History Month you find ridiculous. Why? You're going to relegate my history to a month? Oh, come on. What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? Well, come on. Tell me. Well, I'm Jewish. Okay.
Hold on. Wait. You said which month is y'all's, or which one is my White History Month, right?
But you know how he deviated from that, try saying I'm not white, I'm Jewish.
Hey, but you see,
said,
he cut him off. He couldn't even talk after that
at all.
All right. Oh, that's a cop out. Hold on, I'm Jewish. That's crazy. That's a new one. Hey, if any y'all white people watching, this is a good one to use. I'm Jewish. Just say that.
I'm Jewish. Okay. Which month is Jewish History Month? There isn't one. Oh.
I want to show you one more of Morgan Freeman. This is from a couple years back. He was on 60.
There isn't one. Oh. Why not? Yeah. Do you want one? No. I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history. How are we going to get rid of racism? Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man. Yeah. And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man.
Facts.
I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman. You understand what I know this white guy named Mike Wallace. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I always say this thing about the thin veneer that the woke have, right? There's this thin veneer of some of this makes sense, or even the left in general. There's a thin veneer that their economics make sense, right? Raise taxes, have more services, but it doesn't really work that way. There's this thin veneer of tolerance, and when you peel that off, there's a really nasty person there. Like, look how simply, and I would say almost unintentionally, Morgan Freeman just exposed Mike Wallace. I don't think Mike Wallace, he was actually a pretty decent journalist and a decent guy. But like when Morgan Freeman turns it on him, would you want a Jewish history? No. What are you talking about? And of course you wouldn't, right? Of course you wouldn't. There would be no need for it. By the way, the Black and Jewish connection as it relates to civil rights are deeply connected, because all of the places that we think of as ultimately discriminating against Black people, country clubs, et cetera, they originally were discriminating also against Jews. Jews made their way in, and then Black people made their way in. Like that's how these things were connected. Most of the white people that Martin Luther King Jr. was marching with.
Nah, he's
I was about to
spitting some
say,
BS.
he done spent it
I don't
all
want to
away.
hear him.
Here's
He lying.
Here's why, family, it's important for you to go and declare who you are on the record. For what we just heard right here. This is why, every time I get on this show, I'm gonna remind everybody: go and declare your bloodline, ethnicity, and nationality on the record. Tell them who you are on the record so that they can call you by the name that the Almighty gave to his people. Almighty said, my people who are called by my name. How you gonna force them to call you by the name that the Almighty gave your ancestors? You got to go put it on their record. If you don't, they're gonna still call you Toby in every version of Toby every time. Period.
Facts. So let's get into this next one, man. Right? Again, guys, this is Let the Truth Be Told podcast. We got a lot lined up for y'all. Right? So we was talking about Ali earlier, man. We definitely gotta, you know what I'm saying, see, you know, what he was talking about or what he was on, because we had a lot of our people that was really for our people back then. And I'm not saying that we don't now, because we do, but we've been so blinded with what Elder has been talking about, what YG's been talking about as far as religion, and not focused on brotherhood, not focused on sisterhood, not focused on what's written in the Torah, what's written in the Tanakh, because of the punishment that's been placed upon us, you know what I'm saying, and how to get back to that, because that's what's going to bring us salvation. So let's bring this.
Neighborhoods, we clean their own neighborhoods. And another thing, when you say integration, it comes on the intermarriage too, right? All been together.
Right, sure.
And I'm sure no intelligent white person watching this show, or no intelligent white man in his or her right white mind, want Black boys and Black girls marrying their white sons and daughters, and in return introducing their grandchildren as half brown, kinky-haired Black people.
I wouldn't object to that.
Well, you wouldn't, but a lot of them would.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people. No, this is the point.
What I'm trying to say is this. You don't have it. You say you don't, but you don't have it. You really ain't gonna have it. You're on the show, and you got to say that. But
that's not true.
Why would you want to do that?
Because I don't think I'm any different from you. You see.
Yeah, we much different.
I mean, I think society's made us different.
You know, we're different. If we're all together.
But society's made us different.
No, not society. God made us different.
No, we're just human beings. He made all of us.
We all listen. Bluebirds fly with bluebirds. Red birds want to be with red birds. Listen. Tell me when I'm wrong. Pigeons want to be with pigeons.
But
tell me when I'm wrong. We should have. They don't have intelligence, but yet they stay together. We should have more intelligence than them, right? Buzzards are with buzzards. Buzzards are with buzzards. Bluebirds are with bluebirds. They all are birds, but they got different cultures. The eagles like to hang out in the mountains. The buzzard like to fly around the desert.
Well,
the bluebird like to fly around the trees and the grass.
Problems a buzzard mating with a sparrow, wouldn't there?
What?
There'll be certain.
Right. And that's we have the problems too.
No,
I don't see no Black and white couples in England or America walking around proud, holding their children.
That's because society
and going out.
That's society's fault. I mean, we've got to educate people around it.
Well, life is too.
That's actually a great point. Like, what do you think so far? Just from the little bit, Elder. What do you got to say?
I think he's hitting on all cylinders. He's showing a very simplistic form of explaining it. He says, like all animals, you don't see lions hanging out with tigers. They both cats, but you don't see cheetahs hanging out with tigers either, or leopards. They all have their own area that they occupy. That's the way the Almighty made them. And so Muhammad Ali was expressing that from a sentiment of Black love. As I use that term, loving and embracing your culture. See, we are the most forgiving, loving people on the planet. We will embrace everybody else before they embrace us. It doesn't matter if a son of a family brings home a Chinese woman, if they bring home a woman from India, if they bring home any kind of form of white woman, they gonna be like, look, okay, son, you love her, I love her. Majority of us. And we gonna embrace that. But if you flip the script, let a Indian girl from India bring a black brother home. We seen that in the movie Mississippi Masala with Denzel Washington. If you ever seen it.
Yeah, that's a very good movie. I'm about to go watch that tonight just for bringing that up. I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, you know, it's and whether if a Chinese lady bring home a black man, same thing. And don't let an Arab bring one of us, and we closely related to them out of everybody. And don't let them bring one of us home. Okay, somebody dying,
right?
You know, so but we embrace everybody.
That's facts, though.
they gonna pull out the sword, you know. Unfortunately. So
that's crazy.
It's time for us to embrace our people. You know, I don't have nothing against anybody else. I don't. But we can't love somebody else until we love ourselves. Period.
That's
can't do it.
That's a great point. Right. So let's continue.
It's short for me to be raised catching hell for something like that. I'd rather go and be my own. I have a beautiful daughter, beautiful wife. They look like me. We're all happy, and I don't have no trouble.
I mean, man, I want to rewind that part again. And I want, if you are Yasharala and you are a man, right, from any one of these 12 tribes, whatever you recognize yourself, you know, as far as what you feel in your spirit based off your studying, you know what I mean, and your conditions as far as the curses, because those are signs too as well. Don't get it twisted. Because, you know, sometimes, you know, I see some questions in the chat, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Jay Pena even asked, and shout out to Jay Pena, right, with the sincere question asking, like, well, what are we? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, we are Sharala, right? But we know this through the curses. We know this through the conditions of our people. So this is to the men, because propaganda and media for so many years have pushed a narrative, right, on our women of Yasharala to deem them as not beautiful, to deem them as arrogant, to deem them as, you know what I'm saying, just, you know, nonsense, like just can't even deal with, and will push these other nations to deem them as beautiful. And I love what Ali said right here, as far as the family standard within his own heritage and nationality. Listen to this.
I'd rather go and be my own. I have a beautiful daughter.
Hold on.
For me to be raised catching hell for something like that, I'd rather go and be my own. I have a beautiful daughter, beautiful wife. They look like me. We're all happy, and I don't have no trouble.
And saying, I want y'all to know this is a reaction. They laughed. I don't see how that was a joke, but they laughed. And I'm pretty sure most of the crowd, right, is opposite as far as, you know, of Ali's, you know what I'm saying, heritage and nationality at this moment.
Right.
And so y'all got to see these type of things, you know what I'm saying? That's even propaganda. They laugh at the fact that, you know what I'm saying, Ali loves his own people, wants to have a family with his own people. And when you look at the other nationalities, like Elder was saying earlier, they raise their children to be with their own. But when it comes to us, there's all types of things that are pushed out to separate us. Because when we come together, you know what I'm saying, even within the family, it's a threat. But are you?
Hey, you know what? And one thing I want to say before you play it, so to really set the record, because I'm looking at some of the comments in here. When you look at the 12 tribes of Yasharala, all the 12 tribes came from the same father. Okay. And the women that were involved were all Yasharalites. So reason why I'm saying that is because we have a lot of different charts out here that say, you know, that they put out there saying, well, the issue
12 tribes.
Yeah, Issachar is this, Naphtali is this. No, listen. If you Yasharalite, for lack of a better term, you have the Negro blood in you. I don't care which tribe you came from. Period.
That's right.
Period. There's no deviation in that at all. You know, that's one thing that we need to be aware of is no deviation in that. If you out of tribe of Yahuda, you Negro. If you out of tribe of Levi, you Negro. If you out of tribe Issachar, you Negro still in relation to how they define Negro. We need to realize that. And again, we wouldn't be struggling with who we are if we start, once we find that out and we go on the record and declare it. Take your stand. Don't let nobody define who you are. You tell them that you Yasharala. You tell them you are the tribe of Yahuda or tribe of Benjamin. You put it on the record and let your name speak for itself.
Hey, Elder, I told y'all that Elder gonna talk about this every single show. Like it's, you know what I'm saying, when you be watching these YouTube videos and they got them sponsor moments, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I got something important to tell you. We need you to do exactly what Elder said, because it's in the scriptures, y'all. So I back that up.
Let me land back up, Elder, real quick. You know, my people within
YG, move your mic closer, bro. To your move it.
Hear me?
That's better.
You know, our people in the so-called conscious community, the so-called Hebrew Israelite community, they say that, you know, they love our people and this and that, but when it comes to that 12 tribe chart, throw it out. Just throw it out, man. Get rid of it. Y'all be trying to draft in these Spaniards that don't look nothing like us. Their bone structure is different. They got stringy hair like white folk. They're not us. They try to draft in these $5 Indians talking about that's a tribe of Gad. They're not us. It's not. You know, but until you really go do your research and go dig up the history, man, and understand who we truly are concerning the 12 tribes, man. Like Elder just said, man. Hey, since we talking about the Black History Month, like we just said in the beginning of the show, I'm gonna use it. We all niggas. It's all Negro, 100%. All 12 tribes, man. All Negro. Stop trying to draft in all these other nationalities, these other races, man. Hey, love your own, man.
Right.
Because all 12 tribes is us.
And the reason why we do that is we still continue to embrace being Hebrew Yasharalite based upon doctrine and religion. Throw that in the garbage. Doctrine and religion don't have nothing to do with your bloodline descendancy.
Absolutely.
Right. You know, so when we stand on that, then we standing on something. We got to stop. We got to stop being our own enemy ourselves and cursing ourselves through the words that come out our mouth. Words carry vibration. Remember what you speak, and what you speak through your mouth or what you type, whether it be on a computer, whether it be in the chat, regulate your words. Words carry energy.
So let's look at this right here. Matter of fact, I want to play a little bit more of this, and then we're gonna check something else out. Salakia.
I ain't that much in love with no woman to go through all that hell. Ain't no one woman that good. You understand?
I understand. Yeah, I do understand. I understand. I think it's sad that
it ain't sad because I want my child to look like me. Every intelligent person wants his child to look like him. I'm sad because I want to blot out my race and lose my beautiful identity. Chinese love Chinese. They love the little slanted-eyed, pretty brown-skinned babies. Pakistanis love their culture. Jewish people love their culture. A lot of Catholics don't want to marry number Catholics. They want the religion to stay the same. Who want to spot up yourself and kill your race? You a hater of your people if you don't want to stay who you are. You shame what God made you. God didn't make no mistake when he made us all like we were.
I think that's a philosophy of despair.
Despair.
I really do.
It ain't no despair. Number one, can't no woman. Let me tell you something.
A philosophy of despair. What does he mean by that?
Who you said philosophy of what?
He said I believe that is a philosophy of despair.
Right.
What?
Hold on. Listen to this, Elder. This part right here. Listen
wind
to this.
Wind it back a little bit, Zara. Wind it back.
Yeah, I am.
Replay
That's
that again.
Crazy work. Listen to this.
They want to marry number Catholics. They want the religion to be stay.
No.
Brown-skinned babies.
Right here.
Love Chinese. They love the little slanted-eyed, pretty brown-skinned babies. Pakistanis love their culture. Jewish people love their culture. A lot of Catholics don't want to marry number Catholics. They want the religion to stay the same. Who want to spot up yourself and kill your race? You a hater of your people if you don't want to stay who you are. You shame what God made you. God didn't make no mistake when He made us all like we were.
I think that's a philosophy of despair.
Despair.
I really do.
It ain't no
Yeah?
despair.
What does that mean? What is he talking about?
So when you break that word down, philosophy and despair of despair.
That's what I'm trying to. Yeah, how, like
So-
despair. Let me.
So philosophy is philosophical. It means your thought process or your opinion. That's what philosophy is.
Whoa.
So your opinion of despair. So he's basically saying that that's his opinion, but he added.
My bad. We had a little glitch. I don't know what's going on, but Salakia, but go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So the philosophy of despair is your thought process, your opinion, which is your philosophy, and he put despair onto it to connect what Muhammad Ali said and basically downgrade what he said to a despair conversation. He could have just said, "Well, that's your philosophy," but he said that your philosophy of despair.
So it's got here. It says hope. So that would be like a philosophy of hope. Is that?
Well, it says the complete loss. It says the despair is the complete loss or absence of hope. So he's saying that Muhammad Ali's philosophy is void of any hope. And in his position, I'm assuming the white man's position of hope is the hope that, hey, y'all integrate with us. And Muhammad Ali is like, no, we're gonna be separate.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy work. Can y'all see how they feel about us? And this.
But look, let me say something. This is the point where, as much as they was trying to stop integration and this and that, they really wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Because look at where society is today. You know what I'm saying? There are so many white men who have gotten our sisters pregnant and are starting families with our and vice versa. You know, the white women love us. You know what I'm saying? Look what's going on. Exactly what Elder just explained. And what he just taught with this, I forget this guy's name right here. That's interviewing Muhammad Ali, man. It hits right there, right smack dead in the center. It's crazy. It's like that's what you think. I'm hopeful, but that's what you think, and you're wrong. Like we need to be together all as one. Muhammad Ali is saying, hell no.
Yeah, you know.
And this is, and I want to bring this out real quick because, and this is further reason why. Because it's happened for so long, y'all, and it's still going on. So this is Zechariah chapter 1, verse 12 through 15, real quick. Then the angel of the Almighty answered and said, O Yah of hosts, how long wilt thou not have mercy on Jerusalem and on the cities of Judah, against which thou hast had indignation these 70 years? And the Almighty answered the angel that talked with me with good words and comfortable words. So the angel that communed with me said unto me, Cry thou, saying, Thus said the Almighty of hosts, I am jealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with a great jealousy. This is my point. And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. For I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction.
Absolutely. So they continuing with that. I want to address somebody in the chat said, you know, they were analyzing themselves and they were concerned about their own salvation because of the sins they committed in the past. I just want to say to that person, they know who I'm speaking to. Yesterday is gone, family. Today is present. Your future is tomorrow. You can't go back and redo what you did in the past. You only have the opportunity to correct yourself moving forward. So don't let what you did previously hamper your emotional state. Work on your consciousness and move forward. Whoever that was that needed to hear that.
All praise to the Most High. We appreciate, you know what I'm saying, those kind words, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to the chat. And this is what this is for here at Let the Truth Be Told podcast, right? We're a family here. If y'all don't know, if you guys are new chiming in, we're a family here. And so we appreciate y'all, man. All praise to the Most High and Him alone. So let's check this out, y'all. As you guys have been getting all these examples from what we've been hearing from Jim Brown, what we've been hearing from Muhammad Ali, what we've been seeing, you know what I'm saying, through various interviews, you know what I'm saying, and also examples and breakdowns from the elder and YG. There's no doubt about it, guys. You understand that judgment is coming upon this land that we're living in. And it's time for us, you know what I'm saying, to put our pride aside and come together, do the things that's necessary, you understand, so that we can declare, you know what I'm saying, our salvation through the Spirit of the Most High and Him alone, because we know that we can't do it without Him, and it's going to be Him that's going to do it. So let's look at this real quick.
White America thought they elected a savior, but God sent them their judgment. November 2024, you watched the election results roll in. You saw white America celebrating in the streets. You heard them chanting his name. You watched them worship at the altar of their golden idol. They thought they were crowning their champion. They had no idea they were signing their own death warrant. Here's what they don't want you to know. Here's what the mainstream media will never tell you. Here's the truth that's been hidden in plain sight. Donald Trump is not white America's savior. He is God's instrument of their destruction. Let me show you something that will blow your mind. In 2024, 21% of black men voted for Donald Trump. That's more than double what he got in previous elections. You heard that right. Black men, the sons of the enslaved, the descendants of those who suffered under white supremacy for 400 years, they helped put Trump back in the White House.
And so with that, and then 12% of our men voted for Trump. And then on top of that, it's even double as far as dealing with the Mexicans. And so if you kind of look at that alone, that was probably the significant factor in Trump even winning. Right. What do y'all think?
I agree with you. You know, I would say that it's a perfect paradigm of the shift to the destruction and fall of the great power of today. As it says in the video, it was by, you know, a lot of times the Almighty uses people in their own positioning, contrary to their own thought process. They don't know that they're actually bringing about the change to make a correction when they're thinking that they're doing something else or not even thinking about that at all. And so that's what I see happen in this election. You know, Trump is as crazy as he is. He's the one that's in office right now to speed this judgment up upon this nation. We at this nation's at the 250-year mark, and most nations don't survive after 250 years.
That's a fact. Let's continue.
And white America celebrated. They thought they were winning, but here's what they didn't see. Here's what their blind eyes couldn't comprehend. God was orchestrating the greatest act of divine justice in modern history. He was using the very people they oppressed to deliver their judgment. He was turning their victory celebration into a funeral march, and they were too drunk on their own pride to even notice. Look at what's happening right now in America. Trump's policies are tearing apart the very fabric of white middle-class life. His tariffs are crushing small business owners in rural white communities. His mass deportation plans are creating labor shortages that are destroying white-owned farms and factories. His economic chaos is wiping out retirement savings for white suburban families who thought they were safe. His dismantling of federal agencies is eliminating jobs that white college graduates depend on. Everything they built is crumbling. Everything they trusted is collapsing. Everything they believed in is turning to dust. And the man they worship is the one holding the sledgehammer. Coincidence? Random chaos? Political miscalculation? No. This is prophecy. This is divine judgment. This is God using the wicked to punish the wicked.
Exactly. Using the wicked to punish the wicked. You see stuff like that. I actually went, I did a video on the Leviathan, right? And, you know, I was talking about how there's certain passages in the Tanakh where the Leviathan is mentioned as the wicked, not necessarily, you know what I'm saying, a creature. And how the Most High, where it's referred to as a power, structure. You understand? And so what the Most High is doing right now is that he's just, you know what I'm saying, rousing this up. You also see this in Joel chapter 3, right? Where it says that, you know, the Most High is going to basically put a spirit, I'm paraphrasing, going to put a spirit in these other nations to beat their swords into plowshares, right? Their pruning hooks, right? Into spears, to where the average lifestyle of an everyday man, to where he would get up and go to work, right? You know, just go without his day, you know, save up for savings, you know what I'm saying? May have a 50-year, 70-year plan. Well, a lot of that stuff, you know what I'm saying, is now changing to the point now that people are going into the mindset of survival, whether it's through their families, right? Whether it's through them personally. And it starts at the top because it starts with the wicked first. And so with the wicked, which we know that is in rulership because the wicked runs the earth. This is the classic Job 9:24. If it started at the top, you understand, then of course, this is why you're seeing a lot of changing of certain policies, certain things that a lot of people were used to having, and now these things are being canceled. These are all signs showing you that the economy is dropping. And like what you said, Elder, looking at in the past with other empires and other rulerships, they haven't even lasted that longer than 250 years. So we've already hit that point and that peak. So it's time for us to stay aware and to have the spirit of discernment and get closer back to the Almighty and forget about all that, you know what I'm saying, all that doctrine and all that extra stuff, you know what I'm saying, and get closer to the Most High and Him alone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just like what it says in Isaiah chapter 3. Read one verse. Isaiah chapter 3, I think verse 10 and 11, something like that.
This is Isaiah chapter 3. And let's start at verse 10. It says, "Say ye to the righteous that it shall be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. Woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him."
Right. That means the same wickedness that he put out is the same wickedness he gonna receive. So the blood of our ancestors cry out in this soil, just as Abel's blood cried out to the Almighty. So karma is coming to this country. Destruction is coming. You can't stop it.
That's facts. That's facts. So let's check this out, y'all. You know what I'm saying? A couple more current news, you know what I'm saying? And then we're going to get ready to wrap this up. You know what I'm saying? If you guys haven't already, we got about 27 right now, you know what I'm saying, watching. If you guys haven't, if the Most High puts it on your spirit, hit that like button. It definitely helps push, you know, this live in the algorithm so that we can get this message and this truth out to our people who are like-minded with us here on this chat. We appreciate y'all. And again, all praise and all honor goes to the Most High and Him alone. GOZ till we free. Don't get it twisted. Let me push play.
That we are fighting today, the battle that the Maccabees fought. They fought for the survival of the Jewish people and the Jewish faith against an enemy that wanted to extinguish us, wipe us out from the face of the earth. We were fighting our battle, but we were also fighting the battle of civilization, because our civilization is based on the Judeo-Christian tradition. And if the Maccabees had failed, there'd be no Judaism, there would be no Judeo-Christian civilization, there would be no Maccabees, there would be no United States, there wouldn't be the civilization of freedom, the respect for our common traditions, our common values. All of that would not happen if it weren't for those 5 brave brothers.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Are y'all hearing this?
I'm hearing it, brother. I'm hearing it.
This is crazy.
He claimed
that it's coming out of his mouth.
He claiming the Maccabees first and foremost. The Maccabean period came after Babylon. It came after the Medes and Persians. And by no means, if you go look at the geographical area, the Babylon and Mede and Persia is your modern day Iran and Iraq. Okay, modern day. That's that modern day today, but it would be that's just part of it if you were to try to piece it together. But where did the Ashkenazi and the Sephardic Jew fit into that map over there?
Right.
So how could he be claiming the Maccabean period? Now
Well, because they've put in bywords on us, Elder. Because
right.
once they put these bywords and proverbs on us, and then we start to adhere to that and claim that, then they can just leech on to the original stuff that we don't know about because of the lack of knowledge. That's
Right.
that's my answer.
I agree. And then the other thing is, did the Maccabees really call themselves that?
That's another question. That goes back to what Phineas was talking about. Like, did they really call themselves Israelites? Right. Which is why here, we subscribe to Yasharallah. You know what I'm saying? Because this is something that this is the closest thing that we have, to our language. So, and even that, Elder, with the new covenant still having to be established, everything's going to be set in order. You know what I'm saying? And so we could even be wrong. You know what I'm saying? Even when it comes to that, you know what I'm saying? But what we do know is that we've done our studying, you know what I'm saying? And that language, you know what I'm saying, is not attached, you know what I'm saying, to any of our oppressors, which is why they demonize it. So, you know what I'm saying? If y'all are watching, you know what I mean? We just got to really just humble ourselves down. And that's part of accepting, you know what I'm saying, the punishment of, you know what I'm saying, our captivity and in our iniquity. Because there's real war that's taking place right now under the scenes, while a lot of us is blinded, you know what I'm saying, distracted. You know what I mean? What I mean by blinded and distracted by, you know what I'm saying, by what the government wants us to do and how we operate amongst each other. Hate one another. You're distracted if you're still hating your brother in 2026, man, and missiles is getting ready to drop. I'm just keeping it 100.
Exactly.
YG, I know you got something to say.
Man, you definitely hit it with a distraction. You so-called who subscribe to the name as Israelites, you niggas better learn how to come together because the time is now. You know what I'm saying? And then furthermore, while everybody's worried about what's going to happen, let me just put the disclaimer out there. Whatever, everything that has happened to us up until now, that's all we're going to get until the day of Jacob's trouble. Right now, this ain't even about us. We supposed to be sitting back with the popcorn, waiting for all this stuff to go down, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Because they're tearing themselves down. And we always trying to insert ourselves into everybody else's issues and everybody else's problems instead of worrying about our own issues and worrying about our own problems. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, my beloved elder keep telling y'all every episode, y'all need to go ahead and declare who you are. Hey, man, we ain't telling y'all nothing that we ain't done. And we're telling y'all to do it because it's written in the book.
And I want to bring this up. I want to bring this up because this goes with what you just said, YG, right? This is my brother, y'all. You know what I'm saying? This is my big brother. Shout out to my brother, Amiyar, my dear brother, man. I love this brother dearly. He says so many Israelite gangs instead of congregations. You understand? And, this brother's definitely speaking, you know what I'm saying, from
you know what? I'm
experience, because he's been right there along with me, man. You know what I'm saying, since the beginning, man, right along my side.
I feel the spirit of what he said, but we need to get rid of the congregations. We need to just be one nation, period, man. Just
I think what he's referring to is what he's referring to is that Zephaniah 2:1, right? That Genesis 49:1, the stuff that we're talking about here, right? As far as gathering, like if we understand that we're all oppressed, if we understand that we're all living in our punishment, then all that other extra stuff that brings in egos, that brings in pride, that can bring other spirits, you know what I'm saying, the division, right, of anger and things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? If we put all that stuff aside, then we're able to actually focus more on the things that are more important. And what's more important right now is I'm gonna keep it 100. You know, what you think about this, Elder? I mean, heck, you know what I'm saying? We got our connection, but not everybody, you know, a lot of our people are still caught up in this religious mindset. And then when shit hits the fan, excuse my language, right? They're gonna be reaching out to a lot of these religious quote unquote leaders that they think got their back. You know what I'm saying? And they not gonna have their back. And then they might try to reach out to their family members or something like that, you know what I'm saying, that they didn't thrown to the side, or you know what I'm saying, or SHIT on, you know what I'm saying, for the quote unquote YouTube modern congregation, because that's what you was referring to, you know what I'm saying, Phineas, because we've seen that, right? We've came up in that. And so we got to understand that the word congregate really is going into what we see as far as convocation, right? What's listed in the Torah. And that has a whole different separate meaning because it's land-based. And so, you know, that I didn't want to ramble too much, but shout out to my brother, you know what I'm saying, Yasharala Unidos, you know what I'm saying? Love you, King. All praise to the Most High.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Let's look at this, y'all. Let's look at this last one, man. We getting ready to wrap this up here. You know what I'm saying? At Let the Truth Be Told podcast. Mighty episode. Appreciate you guys rocking with us, man. Right? Let's get to it.
If you're taught the wrong history, you'll draw the wrong conclusions. Miseducation doesn't just confuse you, it misdirects your life. If you're taught the wrong history, you'll draw the wrong conclusions. Miseducation doesn't just confuse you, it misdirects your life.
And I just think on that message, we should just, you know what I'm saying, close out with some scriptures, man. What y'all thinking about, man? You know what I'm saying, on everything as far as just dealing with on that little statement right there. Close out with a scripture.
We can do that. Let's go to did we read let's go to Isaiah chapter 42. Did we read that last time?
Isaiah, hey, we can go there though. We can go there, no problem. All praise to the Most High. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 42, man. Right as we getting ready to close out. Let's just start from the top.
Start from the top.
So this is Isaiah chapter 42, verse 1. Behold, my servant.
Put it on that screen.
Yep, my bad. Behold, my servant, whom I uphold, mine elect, in whom my soul delighteth. I have put my spirit upon him. He shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. He shall not cry, nor lift up, nor cause his voice to be heard in the street. A bruised reed shall he not break, and the smoking flax shall he not quench. He shall bring forth judgment unto truth. He shall not fail, nor be discouraged, till he have set judgment in the earth, and the isles shall wait for his law. Thus says the Almighty, he that created the heavens and stretched them out, he that spread forth the earth and that which cometh out of it, he that giveth breath unto the people upon it, and spirit to them that walk therein. I, the Almighty, have called thee in righteousness, and will hold thine hand, and will keep thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people, for a light of the Gentiles. To open the blind eyes, to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house.
All right, so to be a light to the Gentiles, in order to be a light to the Gentiles, that means that they were sitting in darkness. Whatever they was doing was out of order. They can only be brought back to order by the Yahudim, by Yahuwah, by the anointing that God brings forth.
Elder, I need you to bring some clarification to this on who the Gentiles are, because within the Hebrew Israelite community, they will refer to the New Testament saying that these Gentiles are our people who have been Hellenized.
Absolutely. Let's pause this right here. Let's keep your scripture right here. But let's go to Genesis chapter 10 and we're going to read it. We'll see who the Gentiles is.
Come on, come
That's
on.
right. Let's
It's
get
just
there.
simple. It's
Very
simple,
simple.
my people. It's simple.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 1. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood.
All right, so we're gonna look at these three sons that Noah had. Now pay attention to this son that we about to start reading in verse 2.
The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tiras. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Togarmah.
So I want to pause. You see that Ashkenaz?
Mm-hmm.
Who is that? That is the
Ashkenazi.
Ashkenazi. Okay. This is talking about people. This is not talking about religion. As you said in the New Testament, they tell you that we Gentiles, you know, black people. Nobody that's Shemitic or Hamitic can be a Gentile. Period. Physically impossible.
That's right.
Keep reading.
And Riphath and Togarmah, and the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. By these, everybody pay attention. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families, in their nations.
Did we see anything about dividing based upon religion and doctrine? No. This is talking about people, land, language. So to answer the question about who the Gentiles are, this is who they are.
That's right. That's right. All praise to the Most High. Let's go back to Isaiah 42 to finish it off.
Man. Come on, man.
All praise to the Most High. Picking up from where we left off. Verse 8. That's right. We on the same page. I am the Almighty. That is my name. And my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images.
So if the Almighty won't give his glory to another and his praise to graven images, why do we think that we can transfer the praise and worship from the Almighty the Father to who they call the Son?
It be so simple, man. Most High will have opened up a door and say, "Here, go through the door," and these wicked Negro lights want to build a window and justify going through that.
Right.
That's a great point.
I'm gonna start using that term, Negro lights. I like that. I like that.
All right, man. You Elder gonna be learning all types of new words here at Let the Truth Be Told podcast, messing with us, YG. All praises. Let's continue. Verse 9. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. That coincides with yesterday is spent, family. Today is among us, and tomorrow is before us.
That's right.
Don't let tomorrow be dictated by yesterday. How do you stop that? You change your way today so you can go into tomorrow new. Keep going.
Verse 10. Sing unto the Almighty a new song, and his praise from the end of the earth. Ye that go down to the sea, and all that is therein, the isles and the inhabitants thereof. Hallelujah.
He says, sing into the lands, to the peoples, to the isles, not religion and doctrine. Keep going.
Continuing. Verse 11. Let the wilderness and the cities thereof lift up their voice. The villages that Kedar do inhabit, let the inhabitants of the rock sing. Let them shout from the top of the mountains. Let them give glory unto the Almighty and declare his praise in the islands. The Almighty shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. he shall cry, yea, roar. He shall prevail against his enemies.
And I think that our people, we need to be aware of what we just read. It says, the Almighty shall go forth as a mighty man. Let's unpack that. How did the Almighty bring forth certain destructions upon other nations? By using his man.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. So the Almighty said he shall go forth as a mighty man. That's why he called King Dawid a man after his own heart. And King Dawid was a man of war.
That's facts.
You know, keep going.
Verse 14. I have long time holden my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman. I will destroy and devour at once. I will make waste mountains and hills and dry up all their herbs. And I will make the rivers islands, and I will dry up the pools. And I will bring the blind by a way that they knew not. I will lead them in paths that they have not known. I will make darkness light before them and crooked things straight. These things will I do unto them and not forsake them. Hallelujah.
And the Almighty word stand. You know, the world is in darkness. Whether it doesn't matter what kind of religion it is, what government it is, everything is getting progressively worse. So everybody got their opinion about how things should be. But is the Almighty concerned about people's opinion? No, never was. No. So it's not about how you feel or how anybody feels. It's about what thus saith Yah and about what he says in this day and time to bring about the change.
That's right. All praise to the Most High. Hallelujah. Giving all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High and him alone, guys. This is another episode of Let the Truth Be Told podcast, man. I'm your brother Zamron, right, with your host Shemaiah, right, and my other brother Phineas YG, man. I love being on here with my brothers, man. Shout out to the chat. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate your guys' engagement. You know what I'm saying? Your questions. You know what I'm saying? We're really looking forward to doing an episode to where maybe we can just do a question and answer. You know what I'm saying? Type episode with the chat. Seems like we've been getting a lot more questions, Elder, that people want some insight. Maybe that's something we can look into in the future. We'll talk about it. But you got any closing statements or anything before we wrap this up?
Absolutely. Yes, I would welcome that. Also, I want everybody to go. We have rebranded our website. Instead of going to www.yahwillgatherus.com, the website URL is called QuamYasharallah.com. QuamYasharallah.com. That's the new website.
Hold on 1 second. QuamYasharallah.com, right?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
All right, 1 second. All right. Is that it right there?
That's it. That's the new website.
Yep.
So I want y'all to check that out.
You forgot the A after the R.
I knew you was looking. Hold on.
Yeah.
Damn, Phineas.
That's good. Put that. Why? Yeah, go ahead. Just fix that.
The A after the R. That's right.
It's YASHARAHLA.
Hold on. I'm paying attention up. I got it though. The A after the R. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Wait. YASHARA. Got you.
HLA.
That's why I'm messing up. My bad. All right, here we go. Make sure that's showing on there.
Mm-hmm.
That about right?
You got it. That's it.
There we go. Make sure you guys visit that website right now. Right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna drop it in the comments too as well. You know what I'm saying? Kwame Yasharala, you know what I'm saying? .com, brand new website. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys stay focused and stay in tune for stuff that's gonna be uploaded on there. Shout out to y'all, you know what I'm saying? Also, shout out to Earth Healing Angel, you know what I'm saying? Y'all can go visit Zam Sports for some fun sport commentary, new sports channel, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys also subscribe to my brother Phineas, you know what I'm saying? YG's channel as well. I don't know if you want to drop your link, you know what I'm saying, Phineas, but you know what I'm saying? You can also search him on Facebook as well. But more importantly, hit that like, share, and subscribe, and go and visit that new website right now. www.kwameyasharala.com. You got it here first, and Let the Truth Be Told podcast. We love y'all, man. Any final closing words before we get out?
Yeah, and the other thing is, stay on the lookout. It's coming up real soon. Malak's Corner. We're gonna deal with that's gonna be totally scripture based. We're gonna start with Genesis chapter 1, because odds is if you got the first chapter, the first book wrong, odds is you got a lot of stuff out of place. So we're gonna start from there, and it's called Malak's Corner. Also on Facebook, it's called Malak's Corner, Malek.
I done messed up again, y'all. Malek. I like it. My bad.
That's all right. Malak's Corner, and it's on. I already got the YouTube page up. Haven't started the show yet. Got the Facebook page there, but we're gonna get started on that as well. So be on the lookout for that. That's coming.
Oh, praise the Most High. Make sure y'all look for that to come. Can't wait for that, man. I'm definitely gonna be tuned into that, Elder, for that edification. You understand?
Hallelujah. All praise.
All praise to the Most High. So with that, y'all, this is another episode of Let the Truth Be Told podcast. Make sure you guys hit that like, share, subscribe. Also drop in the comment section too how you guys feel, you know what I'm saying, as far as what's going on with the current news, and also how you feel as far as what's going on with us as a community, as a nation, right, under the Most High and him alone. So I love y'all. All praise to the Most High. With that being said, gone. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Let the truth be told.